Hello everyone, I am Erica of the storytellingjuveler.com and you are watching a surprise video. Well, kind of a surprise since I told about it yesterday, but like a more unexpected video of my series of live meetings. And today I would like to talk about crossing borders. And I see Niti saying hi. Hello, Niti. Good to have you here. And Marianska is here. And Maria is here too. And you can watch today's video at the same time from the Storytelling Beading Club. And you can also watch it on my Facebook page that you can find by typing in at the Storytelling Tutorials on Facebook. And in case that you are watching from the Storytelling Beading Club, then I have posted a link. It's the first comment. And if I don't see your name yet, then you can click on it and enable my broadcasting program to see your name and see your face. But so far we are good and I see everyone's face and name who said hello. Corinne and Sherry and Sarah is here. And Aniko is here too. I hope everyone is well today. And well, what are we going to do? This is kind of an extension of the Club Design series that we started to do. And Club Designs is, well, a collection of ideas what you bidders of the Storytelling Beading Club develop based on an idea that I come with for No One Has to Bead Alone for our usual Friday beading class. So I start a little sparkle and you kind of like make it into a fire, and the collective name of this like amazing energy and inspiration, collective energy and inspiration, it is Club Designs. And normally we have a series of articles at the Storytelling Beading Club where every article focuses on a specific design and showcases some of your beautiful creations and showing the possibilities where you can take a design. Today we meet live, and again Manuela is here and Frida could join us again. Then we have a Facebook user and Zuzi is here. So today we are going to talk about the crossing borders design, and where did we all get with it? Where did you get? Where did I get? I would also like to share you my version that I'm actually wearing, but it's not really visible unless I I do my best. I think it's really, really valuable to share this kind of ideas, as I truly believe that together we get a lot further than everyone on their own. So thank you so much for all the ideas. Janine, hello. And we have some more ladies watching from the club. I don't see your name, unfortunately. So I would like to start with Tanya. Hello. I would like to start with some of the versions beaded by lovely members of the Storytelling Beading Club. And well, actually, first I would like to tell about the name itself of the design. So this was my original. It was beaded in Pantone colors. Pantone colors are yellow and gray for 2021, and they symbolize strength, the gray, and positivity, the yellow, what we all need very much for this year. And you can read a whole article about different designs in this color combination if you go back a little bit on the on the blog, on the storytelling beading blog. But well, yeah, I continued with this motif in this tradition, as I have to say that even if it's a very unusual color combination, I really got fond of it. How do you ladies feel about yellow and gray? I still love it very much, and I think that even after beading about 5 jewels in this color combination, that I rarely do. I rarely, I think, go for the exact same color combination. But in this case, I am somehow stuck. So how do you ladies feel about it? So this was the original, and while I am waiting for your answers, I would like to mention the name, how we chose the name. Usually I feel what is the name of a design, but in this case I was stuck. I just couldn't, nothing came into my mind. I could drink lots of coffee, but nothing. So I asked for help in the storytelling beading club, and well, another proof what an amazing community it is. There were many, many, many great ideas. And Tanya came with the idea of naming it Crossing Borders, as there is a crossroads kind of shape in the middle formed by the beads of the Tila family. And well, every week when we meet, every Tuesday, every Friday, and surprise, surprise, today even only on Wednesday, we are crossing borders and beaders from all around the world come together. So, in the meanwhile, also, oh, thanks, Zuzi, for posting the link to the article. And in the meanwhile, I got some answers from you about your feelings about Pantone colors. So Sherry says, I have finally warmed up to yellow. I'm happy to hear that, Sherry. I think into your happy hippie style, yellow would fit perfectly. And Tanya says, yellow and gray is great. And Sharon joined us in the middle, in the meanwhile. Hello, Sharon. Zuzi says, I love it. Also in normal life, I wear it a lot. I love your yellow scarf, for example. Sarah says, at first I didn't like the colors together at all, but after I beaded a pendant in these colors, I kind of liked it. I'm glad, Sarah. You can really make it even romantic and elegant, what fits maybe more your style, instead of like just popping, screaming happiness. So I'm still looking forward if you will work with them again. And Aniko says, I love these colors together. I know, and it fits your style so well. Even the featured image of the blog article, it featured a pair of earrings and a bracelet made by Aniko, actually. So, yeah, we have proof that you like it. And then a friend says, I wasn't wild about it at first, but it grew on me. Marianska says, surprisingly, I like it very much. And Lutka joined us. And Sharon says, I love gray. It goes with everything. I totally agree, Sharon. And it makes everything more elegant, I would say. So, yeah, great with yellow too. Katja says, I love gray, but I don't like yellow. Kim says, I like it, but I asked my customer group and they were not excited about it. So I haven't beaded any of the colors. You know, Kim, I think like people don't like yellow until they don't see something with yellow or they don't use yellow. So sometimes they need to see a finished jewel or maybe even like a photo of you wearing a nice jewel with yellow tones, and they will realize how much they can really wear it and how much it brightens up their days. But yeah, of course, it's an experiment that's maybe worth to do. and to see if it resonates with your customer group. And Sharon says, not crazy about yellow in general, but love yellow roses. I love yellow tulips. And Lutka says, it's a very pleasant color combination. There are many shades of gray and yellow. And I convinced Kim. Just an experiment, and you will see. It's always worth to experiment. And Tanya also says there are a lot of shades in yellow, but you can go from very soft to very vibrant yellow that hits your face. Indeed, indeed. So, and talking about experiments, let's look at some of the designs that you have beaded from the Crossing Borders motif. This month, by the way, we have a challenge. Well, we have a different challenge every month since the beginning of the year. So this month, the challenge is to improvise. And the task is that every week when you are putting together your color combination for No One Has to Bead Alone on Friday, then choose some beads with your eyes covered, or let someone choose your beads for you. Not all of them, but maybe like one of them at first, and then feed the rest. Feed the rest to what you have chosen randomly. So last week, many of the readers in the club accepted my crazy idea. It was Kata's idea originally, to choose a shade with covered eyes. So, and next week, if you want, we can like even put some more to improvising. So next week, this week, I invite you to choose not one, but two colors randomly with your eyes covered, and then feed the rest to them. And some of the results of our playtime from last week. Looking for my pictures. I've uploaded a lot for today. I want to show you lots of different things. And this version, this earring, it was made by Lutka. And Lutka is also here with us. And she chose very beautiful red and gold and yellow shades. And I just love the result, how it came out. It's like these earrings are on fire. And I'm curious to ask, Lutka, have you chosen any of the colors with your eyes covered? Lutka, vybrala si niektoré koráliky so zatvorenými očami, alebo vyberala si všetko vedome? I am very curious. I think Lutka did an amazing job with this, and it's beautiful and it's on fire. And I really, really, really love it. And one of the possibilities to play with the design was to use either tila beads, Miyuki tila beads in the middle, or to go for like a fake tila and to build up the size of a tila bead from other beads of the tila family. So here, Lutka used the combination of quarter tila, half tila, and another quarter tila. And it gives even more structure and depth and the feeling of flames to it, I think. And Lutka says that she didn't do the challenge with this. She was choosing consciously, no eyes covered. Very, very beautiful. Then we have, what is about to become a pendant from Diane. And Diane wanted to make a pendant to go with this nice enamel earring that she has on the side, and she chose a filigree, and again she worked with like a fake tila bead and added a very, very special hanging part below the main motif. And I think it's originally maybe a connector piece from Tierra Cast, and Diane used the two holes to attach this little metal connector with two lines of seed beads, and I think it came out really, really well. So big applause to Diane. And then I have another pair, and while we begin with Ludka's red version, then we moved on to Diane's mostly blue version. Then we have here a combination of like kinds of turquoise blue and red made by Kirsten. And Kirsten went for emphasizing the middle of the earring with the red tila beads. I don't know if she chose everything consciously or she was playing with us and chose something randomly. And then she attached some double heart connectors at the bottom, and I think it's really cute. So, but there are so many more. These are the three that I wanted to show today, but there are many, many more beautiful jewels also in the Storytelling Beading Club, and actually already published on the blog in an article, the newest article of Club Designs Crossing Borders. And on the cover, you see a beautiful pair of earrings made by Sarah, and then you can see it better in the article, also together with some other variations made by members of the Storytelling Beading Club. So it's super inspiring, and I think it also, well, on one hand, it's very nice to encourage each other and to maybe leave a comment and say to each other that, yay, I love the colors you have chosen. This is so nice. So please encourage each other and leave a nice comment for each other. So yeah, I think that's very important. And on the other hand, I think by looking at different variations, it helps us to develop how we design our own jewelry. And Sherry indeed says so many beautiful versions of this design. And I think we can't stop. There are not a limited number of versions that we can come up with. There are so many versions that we can keep playing with. So I also recommend to going back to some of the previous Club Designs article to get inspired. And someone says, still not wild about my colors, but do like my improvised drop. I think it came out, I think it's Diane. And I think it came out really, really well, Diane. Thank you so much for the idea. And after this, well, you know that sometimes I am guilty of like not finishing my jewels because I am already like thinking about what's coming next. But this year I really try to be conscious about how do I organize my time, how do I organize my beading space, and also conscious about at least not making more UFOs, even if I am I am not reducing the number of my UFOs. I am still waiting for like the possibility to send my whole big cost. Sometimes the little Dutch that I speak messes up my English. My Dutch friend cupboard, the big cupboard I have here. I need to send it to Sarah, and I might leave my UFO drawers in there. That would be like an immediate erasure of all my UFOs. So these days, these weeks, I am really doing my best to like finish what I have started. And since I beaded, but you want the cupboard, no, Sarah? I thought you like it. I'm already packing it up, emptying all the other drawers, just not the UFO. Sorry, just joking. Vanya, hello. And Joanna also, hello. So on Saturday morning, I started to play with my improvised version of the crossing borders that I was working on Friday evening. And yeah, on Friday evening, instead of finishing my pair of yellow and gray earrings, I really wanted to play with you and improvise together with you, not only talk about improvisation. So, okay, I broke my resolution of not making more UFOs, but I had to like play with you. And this is where I started. And now I would like to tell you about the design process, because after finishing the basic motif of my crossing borders, I continued to play with it on Saturday, and I have to say that I really enjoyed it. And in the meanwhile, I was taking notes. I have this vintage looking notebook that is actually like one of my treasures, because it contains my notes for many, many designs. But this time, I was really like writing down my thought processes. Why did I choose something? Why did I not choose something else? I ended up, by the way, I have horrible handwriting, but I ended up with about two, not about, but exactly like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pages of notes. And I will not read them, all of them to you, but I made some bullet points that I would like to share with you, because, well, this is the times, many times I get the questions like, how do you design? How do you come up with the design? So this is your chance to see like what is going on inside my brain. It was actually also very informative for me to read my thoughts afterwards. So what you see on the picture, this is where I started my crossing borders design. The one on the closer to the middle in the bottom row, you see the half tila beads, the green half tila beads. And that's where I started. Those were the ones that I chose during another live video. That was the starting point for my design. And you might have noticed that when I chose them during the video, that I was not like 100% enthusiastic about them. Somehow I am longing for happier colors these days. So maybe with the spring coming, maybe like, yeah, maybe coming out of depression. And so that was what I was longing for. So after choosing the green beads, I decided that, okay, somehow I have to make them a little bit happier. But at the same time, I was also like, I felt that I have to use some red in it, because the matte patina half tilas go very well with the matte red another half tila that I have in my stash. However, it was then a challenge, my biggest challenge color wise, that if I use green and if I use also red, I don't want to make it look Christmassy, because I don't know. I just don't feel like it's something that I would wear. Also, it would be easy to go towards too Christmassy colors because very often I use bronze seed beads as a neutral besides the matte gray seed beads. So then you have red, you have green, you have bronze, which is like kind of goldish. Then do not end up looking like a Christmas tree. And this was a time when I really felt that if I put the time into it, that I am able to make something nice. And I had this dilemma of like, shall I go the easy way? Shall I just glue it on top of a ring filigree or add a loop of 5 seed beads and finish it and move on to my next thing? Or should I put in more work and effort and time? And after I have finished this, I really felt that the like I shall that like don't go the easy way when you feel that there could be more to it, because it will be worth it. And it really worked out at the end, I think. But at the same time, I didn't want to like kill the whole weekend with one jewel, and I knew that I have to stay realistic. So I wanted to go for a brooch, or I wanted to go for a ring. There was no but like improved somehow. There would have been also the possibility, hello Liv, to make it into a little pendant, maybe even with a filigree. However, I am not fond personally. I have nothing against like small jewelry, but personally I know that I would not wear it. So I decided to go for a brooch or for a ring. And what was also a challenge in like continuing with this design, that while the middle of the design is like geometric with the strong sharp lines of the beads from the Tilla family, then it kind of goes out into an organic shape with the gem duos and how the seed beads are like lining around the gem duos. So that was something that I wanted to keep in mind, that like there is a geometric feel to it, but then it grows organically. So if I wanted to strengthen this organic feel on the edges, then I knew that I want to use a filigree. And when choosing my filigree, then I knew that I don't want to use a very big one. I want to just like hang it around, show it around a little bit. And it might be surprising, but my first thought was to use this snowflake filigree. And you know what? It looked really good how only the top edges of these flakes of the snowflake were showing around the motif. The problem was that while the beaded motif itself can be divided into four equal pieces, the filigree can be divided into 5, and it absolutely didn't work. Of course, it's nothing unexpected, but I just want to mention this, as very often I get the question like, how do you know which filigree do you want to use with the motif? And I think it is a very good starting point when you are choosing a filigree, that look at your design. If it has like six equal parts, then go for a filigree that has 6 equal parts, and so on. Of course, it's not a rule that if 6 you have to go for 6, if 4 then you have to go for 4, but that's the easy way to start. And after putting back my snowflake filigree into my box, then this one got into my hand. And this filigree is called the liane. So it's like, even the name, it signals that it goes well with this like shapes, floral shapes. And when I put it behind my beaded motif, then I knew like, oh my God, this is it. This is it. No need to go further. This is what I was looking for. And why did I feel that it is just good? Because on one hand, the shapes, these nice rounded shapes, they are perfectly following the edge of the motif. And on the other hand, since it is not a square, it is like an elongated square. When I put this is actually a brooch filigree. There is also a brooch base attached to it, so I had no extra work with attaching a brooch base. So it made the whole beaded motif look like more elongated by showing more on the top and at the bottom. And but before I would attach the filigree, by the way, I was sewing on the filigree. I was not using glue, but I was sewing on the filigree where by crossing through the middle Miyuki Delica 11 over a gem duo. So that's where I attached it to the filigree. And by the way, I forgot to mention it at the beginning, the free version of the tutorial of crossing borders is still available at the storytellingjeweler.com slash no one has to be the one slash if you would like to download it. And hello, Chloe. Chloe's waiting for filigrees. So before I would have before I did that, I knew that I want to fill in the middle of the motif. There is a hole in the middle, which I think looks good if you are using it on its own, if you have it as an earring or if you have it as a pendant, because it makes, especially when an earring, because it makes the motif look more airy. However, when I put it on this specific filigree, then I knew that I need to fill it in. Sometimes the filigree, the middle of the filigree, it looks so great that with that specific beaded motif that you are using it with, that you like to show it. However, in this case, I just didn't feel that I should show the middle of the filigree. So, of course, what was my decision? I went for a Preciosa Suwon rhinestone. And of course, I needed to add some seed beads to cover the hole and to attach the Preciosa Suwon rhinestone. And I decided to use a chrysolite opal rhinestone and bronze number 15 seed beads and turquoise Picasso number 11 seed beads. And the chrysolite opal I chose because it is also a shade of green. So it helped me emphasizing the shade of the green half tila beads while making it the color combination more sophisticated. Because I think if I went for a very similar shade of bead, very similar to the green half tilas, then it would actually be more Christmassy that I wanted to avoid, while like making the color combination more sophisticated by using more shades of the same color. I was like getting further and further from this Christmassy red and green look. The bronze beads I chose because I already used them in the motif, and the turquoise Picasso I chose because, well, it's kind of like resonating with the green. However, since it is a brighter color, then it is making a natural border between the, let's say, the focal part, the seed beads and the Suwon rhinestone, and then the rest of the motif. So that was my thinking. And again, by using an opal, then like besides the red half tilas and this kind of like purple and bordeaux half tilas, I also have like a pastel powdery pink gem duo, some pastel powdery pink gem duo beads in my motif. However, while I did not have the chrysolite opal rhinestone in the middle, the gem duos were like really like shouting, and it was not like a finished one piece of jewel. And by adding another kind of like pastel tone, I could like still the gem duo beads are what are like they are the ones that say like look at me, and you always need something that says look at me in your design. But by using another pastel shade, I was being able to like connect them to the rest of the motif. And at this time, when I put in the middle, I attached the beaded motif to the filigree. I actually secured my thread ends, I cut my thread ends, and I was like sitting here and looking at it, and I was saying to myself like, okay, this is like good, but it's nothing special. It's nothing special. And I felt that still, if I keep going, that I can get more out of even this small design. And that's when I started to like, of course, think about like how to make it even more elongated, because like when there is like a feature of a jewel, that if you emphasize it, if you give more focus to it, then it I think that then it becomes like special. And like maybe not, let's say if I left it without the drop, then maybe more people would say like, okay, this is a nice jewelerica. Like a bigger percentage of people would say like, this is a nice jewelerica. But by adding the drop and emphasizing some of the already existing feature of the jewel, I thought like I can have beaders, I can have friends who will say like, Erica, I love this. And of course, when you make something like uh, not neutral, then there will also be people who will say like, I don't like it, but you know, I'm happier for with like having a special jewel and like creating the feeling of like, wow, I love it, even if a smaller percentage of people will say like, wow, I love it, instead of everyone saying like, it's okay. So yeah, that's why I decided to go even further. And by this time I felt like this is getting a touch of Art Nouveau, or as we call it in the eastern part of Slovakia, secession. So I felt like this is getting a touch of Art Nouveau. And I thought like, okay, let's go for it. Let's make the little bit of Art Nouveau into like really Art Nouveau. So just to show you some pictures of Art Nouveau and like show you what I want to talk about. So Art Nouveau was a style in both visual arts and a little bit also in literature at the beginning of the 20th century. And secession, how we call it in Hungary or Slovakia, it actually means like coming out. And they meant coming out in a way that they were going against the style what was until then the style of the like high art academies. So instead of going very realistic, they were going for like floral motifs and lots of like purely decorative elements. If you think about a portrait of a woman from previous era, then there would be like really a very realistic portrait of a woman. But with Secession, you get all these flowery decorations which don't have any function. They are just nice. And I had a feeling that these flowery lines are coming back also in the filigree and in the beaded motif. And uh, on one hand, just a moment, looking into my notes. So on one hand, even like visual arts during secession, they show a lot of this like flowery things, flowery motifs, and like flowy lines. I also have one of my favorite writers from Hungarian literature. He's called Géza Csát, and I'm mentioning him because I know that we have some Hungarian friends watching. And he has a short story that is titled The Wizard's Garden. And when I am thinking about Art Nouveau, then also this like, and the Wizard's Garden, it is like a magical place. And I somehow wanted to recreate this like, but magical place behind a fence. So I somehow wanted to recreate this feeling in this little jewel. And by the way, yes, a friend is mentioning Mucha. Zuzi says, yes, Alphonse Mucha. And I apologize, I forgot to say that the image on the right side, it is a painting from Alphonse Mucha, who is a Czech painter. And on the left-hand side, we see an entrance to a metro station. And both images, by the way, are from Wikipedia. They are like not copy write it. So that's why I am able to show them. And just a moment. And also, like visually, when I am looking at paintings from that era, or when I was reading this short story, The Wizard's Garden, and the Wizard's Garden is hidden behind a green fence and full of magical flowers, and this is like a wild, forgotten garden with like lots of trees uh, and flowers, then I thought that I want to emphasize the green color a little bit more. So I decided, instead of going for my usual easy solution of sprucing up a motif with a glass drop in metal setting, I thought that I want to use this turquoise verdigris turquoise patina bead caps. On one hand, they are like green turquoise, so they are nicely emphasizing the color of the patina green half tila beads. And on the other hand, I started to like visualizing them like they could be even part of this, like the motif would be part of this fence of the wizard's garden. So that's where my like literature experience came into creating the design. And then, of course, I wanted to add something to the bottom of the bead cap. And I started to miss a little bit the geometric feeling. So originally, I planned to use a smooth pearl drop from my Preciosa box, because the light burgundy color, it just looked so beautiful together with the powdery pink gem duos. However, when I put it into the bead cap, I started to miss the geometric feel of the of the middle, and I wanted to bring it back just a little bit. So the matte crystal Preciosa drop, the faceted drop, it brings back the geometric lines because of the facets. However, since it is matte crystal, then it is not overpowering the flowery organic parts of the motif. So that's why I chose it. And while, you know what, trying to connect the bead cap and the patina cutter is here, and the patina bead cap and the crystal drop, it was actually more challenging than I thought, because my first idea was to connect them to the bottom of the filigree only with like using one line of seed beads. However, it was always like buckling to one side on one hand, and it just didn't look balanced. So at the end, I decided to use two lines of the seed beads. Sorry, I have a bigger picture. So at the end, I decided to connect the bead cap, and I also used a metal bead to the filigree by like two lines of size 15 seed beads. And I connected the two lines of size 15 seed beads in the middle with a pearl that I already used in the design. And I decided not to connect it to the motif itself, but leaving it airier by only connecting it to the filigree, and also a little bit of the filigree is still showing in the middle. And when I finally finished this, then I felt like, okay, this is good. This is done. And I really hope that by writing down my thought processes and sharing them with you, that you enjoyed looking into my brain a little bit, that how does it work when I am coming up with a design. And in the meanwhile, Kata is making me very jealous, because she's saying that she drove to the Hungarian shop in Stockholm and she bought the sheep cheese I was mentioning last week during No One Has to Bead Alone. Enjoy it very much. And do you ladies have any questions about this design? Is there anything else that I did not say? I try to include as much as possible. Frida says in the meanwhile, Mucha was a fantastic person. If you are in Prague, go to the Mucha Museum. It's fantastic. I totally agree with Frida. It is centrally located in Prague, and it is a very nice experience. And just next door, there is usually an exhibition of Salvador Dali too. So I think you can actually visit the two exhibitions with one ticket. So once you are able to travel again, go for it. And Sarah says, beautiful. Maybe you can leave that brooch in the shelf before you send it to me. Only if I can put it in the UFO drawer, Sarah. So, if I'm still waiting, if you maybe have another questions, I just want to mention that all the components and beads that I used for this design, you can find them at the storytelling bead shop, along with the beautiful Swarovski Bicon beads that I uploaded yesterday, and also not Swarovski. Oh my god, I have to like get used to Preciosa Bicon beads and Preciosa crystal drops that I uploaded yesterday. And actually, we have until next Tuesday, we have a 15% discount for all the Preciosa Bicon beads and all the all the preciosa crystal drops. No, it's not the S word. It's just, I think we still all, at least I have this automatic mechanism still that's thinking about crystals and the S word comes to my mind. No, it's all preciosa. I shall forget about it. The S word. And at the same time, I would like to invite you for the Friday beading session. I'm horrible, I know. That I would like to invite you for our Friday beading session at the usual time, 5 o'clock Central European time, 11 in the morning New York City, 8 o'clock in the morning California. And we will be beading the little treasure motif. And I chose the name Little Treasure because it's super small, but I think it has just as much potential as the other designs that we are working on together for comparison. So you can see this is the size, and so it's little because it's little, but it's a treasure because by adding, for example, a rhinestone in the middle, by adding a glass drop, or maybe adding some bezeled, peyote bezeled rivolis, or on top or on the sides if you want to make a bracelet, you can really, really make it into a treasure. And you can actually turn it like this, so the sides are diagonally, or you can turn the motif so it's you can see more that it is a square. And I think if we have like a beader who has like lots of time on her hand and is a bit masochistic, then you can join the little motifs next to each other in 2 rows at least, or even better in 3 rows, and you would be able to make a beautiful statement bracelet. So, ladies, if you don't have any questions left, then I would like to thank you for your time. I hope that you enjoyed this, and see you all in 2 days on Friday for No One Has to Bead Alone. And I am really looking forward. Have a nice rest of the day, ladies. Also, see you in the club. Bye bye.